I'm a real tough kid, I can handle my shit. I'm a real tough kid, I can handle my shit. Till you make it, and I did.
I'm just a terrible person, I guess.
It's a debate intro video.
I'm just a terrible person, I guess.
Even when you wanna die. Even when you wanna die.
Loud.
All the pieces of me shatter, hit the crowd is chanting more. All the pieces of me shatter as the crowd is chanting more. Broken heart.
What's up, guys?
Broken heart.
Yeah, it's
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am Sarah the Raging Tomato, here bringing to you live another Throwdown Thursday.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I am Sarah the Raging Tomato,
decided
here
to come
bringing to you
and
live
brave it through
with all of
Thursday.
you
Sometimes it gets crazy.
with the
Most
topic
of the time
that
it gets
CRISPR
chaotic. Gene
Dr.
editing
Gray
is ethical. That is his belief, and we're going to dive right into that. And then, of course, here shortly, we will go into open panel mode. Dr. Greg, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I wanted to go ahead and start off with your credentials. I think that's the most important part, that everyone's going to come in with skepticism and blah, 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 and whatever. Can you start with kind of who you are, what you do, so on and so forth, and what makes you the guy that can talk about this?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I have a microbiology PhD. I've been working with CRISPR since about 2014. I basically am a molecular biologist by training, so I genetically modify organisms for my job. So I genetically modify bacteria, fungi, land plants, algae. I did my PhD on using nanotechnology to deliver DNA to algae chloroplasts for the first time. And that's just basically what I've been doing. I've been a scientist for about 16 years. So it's, I'm out there. And
Wow.
now I've been, since the pandemic, I've been doing science communication, and I've hosted a nightly kind of like a call-in show, like a science night show or fun show.
Come debate me, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So that I do that every night at 9:00, and yeah, it's been fun.
Oh, good. And we can find you over on TikTok
Mhm.
and YouTube and Facebook, I believe it was as well. Anywhere else you want them to find you?
Yeah, drgregshow.com, and yeah,
There
that
you
has
go.
all the links.
Perfect. Lovely. Thank you. So let's go into CRISPR and exactly what it is and what it can and cannot do. Can you give us kind of a rundown of that?
So CRISPR is a gene editing technology. So basically, it can find a piece of your DNA and it can do a couple things with it. It could change the DNA. It could increase the regulation of that gene so that more protein is made. It could hamper the production of protein by, downregulating it. It can also knock that gene out. It can also insert genes. There's a whole host of things. It's important to realize that CRISPR isn't the first gene editing tool that we've ever had. We've actually had a whole host of gene editing tools for about 2 decades now, or about 25 years. The big way that CRISPR is different than anything else is the cost. It's way cheaper and it's way quicker in order to do it.
How would define quicker and define cheaper?
Yeah, so the big one before it was before CRISPR was TALENs, and TALENs would take about like a month of optimization before that. Before TALENs, you would have like zinc finger nucleases, which it basically kind of takes 2 to 3 months in order to figure it out. And we're talking like lots of money, lots of labor, lots of time. CRISPR is about overnight if you want it to be. It's crazy. You could
Wow.
you can order the DNA at 10 p.m. and at 10 a.m. when you walk into the lab, there's the DNA sitting on your desk, and then you just transform that into the CRISPR cassette that you have all set up and go, and you can just use that that day. So it's about 24-hour turnaround time. It's pretty amazing.
Now, how many things can it find or change or manipulate? Is it very specific, or is it a pretty broad spectrum that it can do?
It can find pretty much anything in the genome. There is one version that basically there's a PAM site, it's called, which is like a double checking spot on that. You are kind of like limited in that point, but in reality, you really have no limitations now with the new technology that's out there. We can pretty much target anything in anywhere in the genome.
And is this like if I made a baby, right? Can you do this pre-making baby, or is this like post? Can you do this to a human?
Yeah, so a big breakthrough has been David R. Liu is out of Harvard and the Broad Institute, and they've been able to genetically alter humans. So there's basically two sets of genomes that you have. It's called the somatic germline. The somatic genome, which is like the genome that's in my cells, right? That's in my fingers and that kind of stuff. Those are differentiated. And the germline genome that is in my testes. So that is the genome that I gave to my kids. And they're not actually the same. So you have a lot of mutations that happen over time. And we've been able to basically genetically alter the somatic or the cells of your organs and everything like that with editing tools now.
And that's the pre-baby making, not post, right?
So there are dozens of trials for the non-baby making genomes. So the germline isn't what we are actually like editing right now, but right now currently there's about 24 trials for somatic or non-germline or non-babies, non-heritable genomes.
Dumb that down for me.
Post your.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I was like, wait, what? Big words.
Sorry.
Okay, so post, so like a human.
Yeah.
There is trials for being able to edit. Like if I right now said, you know what, I want my eyes to be brown instead of green. Can you genetically go in and trigger something and change that? But they're trialing stuff similar to that, I'm assuming, right? I mean, obviously, it would probably be something bigger like cancer cells or something like that. But
yeah, theoretically you could, but that's not what that's not where the science like is being tested right now. We're doing diseases, so like cholesterol, for example, is something where, I mean, heart disease impacts 400,000 Americans every year, and they die because of it. And basically, we could use, they have used. There's just a new paper that came out. They can actually edit cholesterol making parts of your body to actually lower your cholesterol, so you don't have to take statins, for example. So it's a huge quality of life. You're curing diseases basically, and basically in as little as 1 month. There's a case of a child that was born with leukemia, and they failed chemotherapy, they failed bone marrow transplants, but then they were capable of actually using this technology and editing her genome for her cells. And within 1 month, she was actually cancer free, and she's been in remission for years. And she was only expected to live a year.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is pretty impressive. So that's human trials in terms of you've been made and created, and now we can go kind of fiddle faddle with what you already got.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a pre gene altering, which would be like, I'm guessing sperm and egg going into that. I think you said genome, correct?
Yeah, so a genome is basically after they marry and they start dividing, that would be your genome. So, but we don't so much like it's experimental, like in non-humans right now, but there really isn't any trials with humans, and it's not really what the aim of it is yet. So it's like technically it is gene editing, like what, gene therapy techniques, but it's not like a designer baby scenario where you're like editing your exact genome that you want.
So we aren't playing with the genes pre-baby making, or we are?
So you can do sequencing. So you can sequence the mutations that exist, and you can like choose whether or not you want a baby that accept that baby with IVF or something. You can check and screen those those cells before you implant them. But we're not like doing designer babies where you can like pick and choose and stuff. There is one company that's doing this. It's called IVF Plus Nucleus, and they just started it. It's and basically they do a bunch of sperm and egg combinations, and they sequence those combinations, and then they give you basically a sheet, and you can pick like what baby that you would want. But they're not actually editing those genomes. Those are just the combinations that naturally happened.
Okay, so you can pick